Hey everybody, Mike here with another edition of Making Sense of Transformers, a series where I talk about various topics about the Transformers movies that need a little extra analysis and explanation. And now, both live action and animated. With the upcoming Transformers animated movie, Transformers 1, due out in September, you probably noticed in the first trailer that Megatron is not yet called Megatron. His name is D-16. Was this made up just for the movie, or is there a little history behind the name? After all, B-127 was used for the first time ever in 2018's Bumblebee. Well, considering I made a video about it, you bet there's a history behind D-16. So when did Megatron first get his name, and why was it chosen? Let's find out. So unlike Bumblebee, D-16 isn't just some made-up original name for a movie. In fact, it sort of goes all the way back to the earliest days of the franchise. It was first seen as the designation number on the original G1 Megatron toy, released in Japan in 1985. But that's why I say it sort of goes all the way back to 1985. Because there was no meaning behind it. It wasn't meant to be an alternate name or nickname, it was simply the identification number on the box. And then after that, it wasn't ever seen in any type of Transformers media until 2005. Megatron was simply always Megatron. But then IDW created a new series that was a reboot of the Generation 1 series, and in this version of the Transformers story, Megatron actually started out as a Cybertronian poet and writer. Unfortunately, like several pieces of Transformers media, Cybertron had a pretty unfair caste system. While he dreamed of becoming a doctor, D-16 was forced down a pretty dark path. Sent to be a miner against his will, he was later falsely arrested, eventually leading to him becoming the ruthless Megatron we all know.
They say I have anger issues.
And a main antagonist of the series, which ran through 2018 before reaching its finale. IDW's Transformers continuity was then rebooted in 2019.
Lord Megatron, you're certain it's here?
I am certain, Barricade. And when I find it, the balance of this war with the Autobots will finally tip in my favor.
Megatron was also originally known as D-16 in the Aligned continuity, which was Hasbro's frankly not so great attempt at creating a shared universe of multiple comics, books, TV shows, and video games. Would you believe that Transformers Prime is supposed to be a sequel to Transformers War for Cybertron? Nope, me either. But it's technically true. The biggest problem here was that the creatives in charge of these different pieces of Transformers media did not want to be upheld to the pre-established canon, leading to numerous continuity errors and hard-to-explain connections. Anyway, D-16 was first mentioned by name in the Transformers War for Cybertron tie-in comic, not to be confused with the newer Netflix show. And this was released on the same day as the video game and the book Transformers Exodus on June 22nd of 2010. Interestingly, Megatron had 3 different names across these 3 pieces of media. In the comic, he was known as D-16. In the book, he started as the gladiator Megatronus, and in the video game, Megatron. Now, according to the War for Cybertron comic, Megatron was once again a miner known as D-16, based off his assigned sector number. He even had his designation written across his chest. He, along with other chosen warriors, even helped Sentinel Zeta Prime in defeating the Quintessons, still with that D-16 name. Later, D-16 started to gain interest in becoming a gladiator, mainly because he was pretty bored with his job, and that sounds just so relatable. But it was a little bit more than that. Due to the Transformers caste system, the conditions were pretty bad. I think it was a little bit more than D-16 just not being a fan of the 9 to 5. After spending some time in the gladiator pits, D-16 started to grow restless of the Cybertronian caste system and finally had enough. He named himself Megatronus, which was the same name as one of the 13 original Primes, who is also known as the Fallen, by the way, and took control of Kaon, which we all know is the capital city of the Decepticons. Soon after he gained control, onlookers had shortened his name to simply Megatron. Now, Megatron and Orion Pax, who later became Optimus Prime, both had the same goal of creating a better Cybertron, one without the cruel caste system that had been in place. But they both had conflicting ideas on how to reach this goal, unfortunately leading to an all-out war between Optimus Prime's Autobots and Megatron's Decepticons. And as you've probably noticed, while D-16 has only really been used in a couple of continuities, these stories seem to be closely related with how Transformers 1 appears to be setting up the war for Cybertron. Megatron appears to once again be a miner below the surface of the planet, which has also been confirmed by director Josh Cooley, and he seems to show great admiration to what appears to be the final resting place of the original Megatronus. The biggest difference in the movie is that Megatron will not become a gladiator in the pits of Kaon, as Cooley said in a recent interview that there just wasn't time to include that piece of character development into the film. So instead, Optimus and Megatron, or Orion and D-16, will both start as miners before beginning their journey. While the movie will definitely not be an exact retelling of the stories, they do seem to be taking a lot of inspiration from them, and the aligned continuity specifically with the inclusion of the Quintessons, Sentinel Prime, Arachnid, and the Viacon-like Transformers. Maybe that very expensive binder of Revelation won't go to waste after all. For those who don't know, this was a continuity Bible for the Aligned universe that allegedly cost $250,000 to make. It was assumed by many that it was never going to be used again. However, Cooley did mention that Hasbro gave him the binder when he began work on Transformers 1. So that definitely explains why we are getting a pre-war D-16 compared to moving straight into the Megatron name. So there you have it. That is the background of the D-16 name. Who's ready to see him heartbreakingly betray Orion Pax in Transformers 1? I know I am. Now I hope you enjoyed this deep dive, and make sure to subscribe for more Transformers history lessons and theories. See you next time.